So I'm so excited to be here today with Dr. Margo Jacquot for our special segment on Mom to Mom. And of course, it's particularly special because one of the moms is a licensed clinical psychologist.
That would be me.
Exactly. So we're just going to dive right in.
Okay. Great.
So Margo, I hear parents talk about, they're so worried about everything that their kids do. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, when the really big things happen, like sex and drugs and those terrifying things.
Right.
It seems to be right about the time that kids stop talking to their parents and they only want to talk to their friends.
Absolutely.
What's a parent to do?
Oh, boy. Well, so this is tricky for a lot of parents for a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons it's tricky is that throughout our kids' lives, we have been so involved with them. So we're in a phase of really intense parental involvement, meaning that parents are so used to being involved in everything their kids did. We set up their play dates. When we were kids, we got shoved out the door and you ran up the street. And by the time it was dinner time, you knew, look at your watch, look at the sun, get yourself home. So we're even in an even more intense phase of parenting right now. So to have our kids all of a sudden backpedal and start divesting themselves from us, distancing from us, even though it would be hard for any generation of parents, it's particularly hard because of how intensely involved we've been. So
it also feels like the risks are harder now. Maybe that's every parent's done that, but
I don't know that the risks are harder. I think each generation feels like the risks are harder. And yes, there wasn't vaping. There's vaping now. But sex has been around, obviously,
yes, for a long time.
Since the beginning of time. Cave parents were dealing with it. But for us as parents, how do we manage that emotionally, and how do we manage that with our kids?
So, Margo, what are 3 things that parents can do as their kids start to look more to their peer group than to them about some of these things of drugs and sex and things like that are coming up?
Absolutely. So first of all, mindset is imperative. That's actually a doing. It may not feel like a doing, but mindset is imperative. Mindset meaning how you think about it. We as parents need to hold this as normal. We may not like it, but it's incredibly normal.
So we shouldn't assume that they hate us?
We shouldn't assume that they hate us. Right. This is their job right now. Their job is to be connecting with other people. The theory is that as evolution has gone on, kids needed to start divesting themselves of their parents so that they could be able to join another tribe or assume a new position in the tribe. So it has an evolutionary purpose.
So it's not personal. It's
not
completely normal that they're going to turn away from their parents.
Completely normal. So don't take it personally. Understand that it's a normal developmental phase. It means things are going as they should, which for me as a parent, I'm always really excited when I see that, even if I don't like the way that it feels at the time.
Right.
So that's
developmentally normative. And it starts I think we're talking high school with the stuff, but I guess it kind of starts around 12, junior high.
12, 13, 14, junior high is pretty typical. So I would say the other thing we need to do is make sure you do know who your kids' friends are and who the parents are, if you can. Knowing the kids, knowing the parents, so that when the kid says, I'm going with this person, we know who they're going to be with. We know we can contact the parent if need be. That's still really important. Even though they're going to hate that, they're going to want to have distance, that's our rule. Let me know where you're going. Let me know who you're going to be with. Kids have phones. Yay. This is really a good thing. I make sure that my kids, before they move from point A to point B, they send me a quick text, they phone me, something so that I just know where they're going. And then I let them do it. So if my son wants to be with a really good friend and he's on his way there, he's diverted from school, he's not taking the bus. Hey, Mom, I'm heading over to Jacob's house. I'm not going to be home. That's it. So I let him do it, but he has to stay in constant communication with me when he's changing from one location to another. And we have a very consistent, agreed upon schedule for after school times. This is when you can go. This is when you need to be home. These are the things that you need to make sure you get done by dinner time. So what I'm doing is I'm less involved in directing traffic, but I'm still providing the outline. I'm still providing the boundaries for them. That's really important. Kids still need that. So even though they're pushing away, I'm not trying to pull them back in. This needs to happen.
And even if, I feel like those kids that might be non-compliant, but it sounds like as a parent, you need to be consistent with setting the structure they may push those boundaries, but then you need consequences and you need to enforce the consequences.
Right. Because it's normal for a kid to want to say, how far can I push this?
Right.
Right. Yes. We need to make sure that they understand this is still the consistent rule and we have to enforce it. You have to have consequences.
Okay. So the first one is don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally.
The second one is set rules and enforce them if the rules are broken, if you know that they've been broken.
Right.
And what's one more in terms of a parent going through this phase now?
Make sure that you spend time with your kids and their friends. Maybe that's driving them somewhere. Get to know these kids just a little bit if you can.
I know. What do you do when your child, I mean, I know even me growing up, none of my friends had last names. Like, I don't know anyone's last name. And that seems very typical now, especially if kids are in a big school, in a high school of 3,000 kids.
Yeah.
It's very easy for the child to give a name or not a real name or.
That's right.
So.
Right. And, they may not necessarily mean to be trying to pull a fast one, but sometimes they're trying to pull a fast one. So if I know who the friends are and I know I'm going over to Jacob's house, who's Jacob's? I'm going over to Daniel's house, who's Daniel? If I know who these kids are, I am much more likely to say, go ahead and go. And I can sit back and relax. I don't want to be sitting at home or have you or any other parent be sitting at home wondering and being kind of nervous about who are their kids with. So unless it's somebody that we have met, they don't go over to their house still. Now, as adolescents get older, that will change. So we're still talking about this 11, 12, 13, even 14.
Okay, I'm thinking more like the 16, 17.
That's a different story.
Then it's harder. Although I've done things like offer kind parent to offer to pick him up and give rides, but then I'll go to the door to get him, which I know he hates, but then at least I can, meet the parents just in that way. Yeah.
That's a great way to meet kids, is to be the person who will pick them up and drop them off. We also try to make our house be the house where people want to hang out. So we have fun things, good snacks, so that people want to come to our house.
So you had 3 really great pieces of advice for parents. Absolutely. One was, don't take it personally. This is completely developmentally normative for them. Okay. Yeah. Second one was, even if they resist it or they make funny faces, set boundaries, set rules, and enforce them.
Okay. The enforcing is important.
I know. You can't really negotiate as much anymore, can you?
You really can't. No, it gets a little more black and white.
Yeah. So, and then know their friends was the last one.
Yep.
Great. So I think what we'll do next time is talk about how you can know your friends, how you can make your house the one that all the teens want to hang out at. I think that'll be great advice for people.
Happy to do it.
Okay.
Thanks, Deanna.
Yeah, thank you.